DreAllDay.com.
Now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves all of us to go and make things happen instead of wait for things to happen. And then we put this all together into one bundle, one package, one philosophy, one mindset. One process that we have codified, one method, one university, a book, and the daily masterclass that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is how do you make more money? Let's just address this topic simply and plainly and directly. This is a simple enough premise. I think everybody understands the concept of money, and I think everyone understands the concept of making more. And I think a lot of people who are listening to the show want to make more. Maybe there are some people who say I'm good with where I'm at, but I think everybody else is like, yeah, I want to make more money. How do I do that? Today, I'm going to give you some principles of doing so, of positioning yourself to make more money and actually getting it that you can then apply with the detailed knowledge of the thing that you do. Now, I don't know exactly what you do, and I don't know the details of what you do. Maybe I do, depending on what it is, but I may not know the details of what you're doing and your particular approach and your particular position in that thing. But these principles apply everywhere. They apply in every industry. They apply in anything that you could possibly get involved in life, where anything is capitalistic, let's just say it that way, that the money is going to accrue to the people who are producing the highest level of value. Anything capitalistic, this will increase the money that you make. So let's get right into it without further ado. Point number one, the topic again, is how do you make more money? Number one thing, I want you to the first thing is an understanding. All right, first I got to throw a disclaimer out there so we can get the bad information out of the way, and then we'll get to the good stuff. The bad thing that we got to get rid of is working harder is not the answer. All right, so if someone told you that to make more money, you just need to work harder. And understand, when I say make more money, I could also mean this metaphorically. I mean it literally today, but if I was using this metaphorically, make more money meaning like get more attention, or get more followers on social media, or get more people to like you, or get more playing time on the basketball team, or get more girls to be interested in you. Any of those things could be metaphorically related to making more money. But I want you to understand that to get any of those things, to get more of any of the things that you want in life, money, attention, fame, likes, happiness, whatever it is, well, let's not say happiness, but let's say the things that we can transact, that it is not based on working harder. It is not just put in more work and then you'll be a better player necessarily. It is not put in more work and you're going to make a whole lot more money. Now, again, are there times where you could work harder and make more money? Yes, but that is not the principled answer of what I'm going to be giving you here today. All right, hard work ain't enough. I have a masterclass you can get for free if you go to hardworkaintenough.com. You can get the whole 90-minute masterclass free as a video. Understand that nobody gets paid for working hard, everybody. If somebody told you that you make your money by working, no, you make your money by the results that you produce through your work. Now, to produce those results, you need to work, but you are not being paid for the work. You understand? Nobody gets paid for work. Nobody gets paid for hard work. Nobody gets paid for easy work. You get paid for the value that you create through other people. This is how and why some people could appear to not really be working that hard, not even be putting that much time in. They don't even put in a quarter of the time that you put in, but they can make just as much, if not more money than you. How is that? They're not even working as hard as you, so why are they making more money than you? Is because the value that they create is more than the value that you create, despite the fact that you're spending more time working. All right, there's a formula to doing this, and guess what? You are in the right place, listen to the right person. I'm gonna tell you exactly what that formula is. So if you wanna learn that formula, you wanna stop working yourself to death and grinding yourself down to the bone trying to get $1, then I suggest you not only listen to what I'm gonna say here, make sure you save this episode, bookmark it, download, whatever you gotta do, take notes on what I'm saying so that you can translate what I'm saying to what makes sense to you. Take notes on what I'm saying here today, and you will wanna listen to this one more than once. So hard work is not the answer. Everybody clear on that? All right, hard work is part of the value creation process. Okay, so to create value, yes, you do need to work hard, but understand that you do not get paid for working hard. So now that that's out of the way, let's move on to point number two. Let's get into the meat here. That was the appetizer. Let's get into the meat. Number two, question again is how to make more money. Make yourself, this is point number two, make yourself less replaceable. Make it harder for someone else to take your spot. Make it so that you are the only one, or one of only a very few, who can do what you do. who bring the value to the table that you bring to the table, that can produce the results that you produce. This is a key principle of earning more money, getting more people to like you, having more people have to come to your doorstep to kiss the ring, to knock on your door, to come to you, to get the thing, whatever the thing happens to be, is you have to make yourself irreplaceable. If you are irreplaceable at something that is valuable, you will always have a job. This is a very simple concept that if you embrace and understand, and then you really put some thought into and strategize on how you can use this yourself, you will always have opportunity. You will always be able to make money. You'll have more money coming your way than you won't even have to go look for it. It'll be coming to you because you can do something that is valuable, and it's hard for anybody else to do it. It's hard for you to be replaced. So you're the only place they can get it. Therefore, you can pretty much demand what you want. There are 3 ways to make money in life, or there are 3 levels of earning money in life. Let's put it that way. The 3 levels are accepting, negotiating, and demanding. So if you want to get to that demanding level, which is the highest level of earning revenue, meaning you demand and tell people how much they have to give you to get what you're offering, and it's take it or leave it. You want to get to that level, you have to be irreplaceable, or at least damn close to it. Because if there are other options, then what do we need you for? We don't have to give you what you asked for, because I could just get somebody else and they'll charge less. Why would we need to come to you? A good shooter in basketball, for example, will always have a job. Why? Because the way basketball is played, good shooters to space the floor. They can make a 3-point shot, which is worth more than a 2-point shot or a 1-point free throw. So that's another reason that they're valuable, and it helps space out the floor for everybody else. So if you're good at shooting a basketball, even if you're not that good at many other aspects of the game, you will always have an opportunity. Why? Because that's just what it is. Shooters are highly irreplaceable in the game of basketball. A good copywriter in any type of sales or marketing forum, whether that's online or offline, anyone who's a good copywriter will always have a job. Why? Because copy is not just the words on a website or on a billboard. Copy is also the words that people say. If you hear an advertisement on somebody's podcast, that is copy. If someone is writing a persuasive Instagram caption trying to get you to go and click on a link and get some product, and so you can get a 20% discount because they're doing a brand deal with some other company out there, that is copy. Anything that someone says or writes down with an aim of persuading you is copy. And if you really think about it, that's all we do all day, is trying to persuade other people to do things, to think things, to believe things, to do things, to follow stuff, to listen, to laugh, to like, to comment. That's all we're doing all day. All of that is copy. So someone who's good at doing that, and there's a whole industry to this, so those who don't know, there's a whole skill and profession behind this persuasive writing. So anybody who's good at that will always have a job. Now that if you never heard of that before, does it make sense that someone who's good at that will always have opportunity? Of course it does. Leaders who are willing to take on responsibility, there will always be a position for you. Why? Because there are so few people who want to take on responsibility. Copywriters always have a job because so many people are terrible at writing persuasive copy. They're terrible at persuasive speaking and persuasive writing. So someone who's good at it will always have an opportunity. Why? Because so many people ain't good at it. They need it. But then when people realize that they need it, they're like, oh, let me go find somebody who's actually good at this so I can learn how to do it. Anyone who's good at selling is good at copy, even if they don't even know. I was good at copywriting even before I knew I was copywriting. And then when I actually realized that copywriting was a thing and I started being strategic about developing my skill, I got even better at it. Now, you want to see a good example of good copy, go to mirrorofmotivation.com. The copy on that page is excellent, if I may say so myself. How many of you have the book? There's proof. Leaders who are willing to take on responsibility always have opportunity simply because so few people want it. So these are just examples. A worker who's willing to work on full commission. All right, any one of those people, there's always a job for you. Now, if you're willing to work on full commission, 100% commission, all right, there's hardly any employer in the world who would not hire you. Why? Because they don't have to pay you anything. They only pay you based on what you produce. All of your pay is based on you actually producing a result. Well, shit, I'll hire 100 people who pay is based on that. Now, you produce an outcome, then you get some money. All right, let's do it. All right, online, we call that affiliate marketing. Those are affiliates. They don't get paid for putting your product on their website. They only get paid when somebody buys that product from their website. Your product from their website. All right, so you don't have to pay them anything for doing the work. All you pay them for is the production. Anyone who's willing to do that will always have opportunities for themselves. Why? Because they're hard to replace. Not too many people want to do it. Here's a question you should ask yourself about your job and your work and your position in the industry. How many people can and are willing to do what you do? How many people can and are willing to do what you do? Because that's the answer to how replaceable you are. Because if there are a million people who could do what you do and they're willing to do it, then you are quite replaceable. You are what we know as a commodity. And when you're a commodity, it's a race to the bottom. And the race to the bottom is referring to price. There's some things just get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And people usually buy the cheapest thing. Why? Because they all seem the same. Commodities. The fewer people there are who can do what you do and are willing to do what you do, the higher your value, the more you'll be earning because they can't replace you. Simple as that. Let's move on to point number 3. Topic once again is how do you make more money? Number 3, another way to make more is to produce a higher return on investment for those whom you serve. Let me give you an example. There are some real estate agents out there, I'm sure some who listen to the show. Now, some real estate agents help people get apartment leases for $1,000 a month apartments, and they get paid accordingly. There are other real estate agents who, instead of helping people get $1,000 a month apartments, you know what they do? Their focus is helping people buy and sell $10 million beachfront houses. Now, let me ask you a question. And this question is specifically for the people who know nothing about the real estate industry. Which real estate agent makes more money? The one who their clients are trying to get $1,000 a month apartments, or the real estate agent who's selling $10 million beachfront houses? Which agent's making more money? Now, I think even if you don't know nothing about the real estate industry, just by simple deductive reasoning, you would probably guess that the person selling the $10 million houses, they're making more money than the other person. Why is that? You don't even need to know real estate to answer the question. Why? Because the bigger deal, the $10 million beachfront home, produces a bigger return. All right, the person who's leasing out $1,000 a month apartments will have to lease a lot of apartments to equal the commission just on one sale of a $10 million house for a real estate agent. Why is that? The bigger deal produces the bigger returns. They're working on something bigger, they're aiming for something bigger. Therefore, when it hits, and it may take a lot more work to sell a $10 million beachfront house than it does to lease a $1,000 a month apartment. So it may take a lot longer. So in the time that it takes one real estate agent to sell a $10 million house, it might take them 3 months to sell that house. It might take them 6 months to sell that house. Whereas the person who's leasing out the $1,000 a month apartment, they might lease 4 or 5 apartments this week. But the return when they do get the gig, when they do get the deal done, is way higher, even than all the $1,000 a month apartments that the other real estate agent was able to knock down. Now, depending on the percentages of commission and all that, all the rules and all those things, now there is a way that the $1,000 a month person could get more, but they would have to put in a lot more time. They had to deal with a lot more clients. It would take a lot more effort, I think, overall, to get the same amount of money from one deal for the person who's selling the $10 million house or buying the $10 million house. Why does the front desk administrator at a business earn $50,000 a year while the CEO of that same company is earning $5 million a year? Is it unfairness? Is it a lack of social justice? Is it a racial thing? Is it a gender pay gap thing? No. But the difference in money is 100x. The CEO is making 100 times more money than the front desk administrator. Why is this? Is the CEO 100 times smarter than the person at the front desk? I doubt it. Maybe they are smarter, but 100 times smarter? I doubt it. Is the CEO working 100 times harder than the person at the front desk? I seriously doubt that, because the hardest you can work is 100%. So that means the admin would have to be given 1% effort and the CEO 100%. And I don't think either one of those is accurate. Not even close. So why is the CEO earning 100 times more money than the administrator, and why is this fair? Why does this make sense? I'll tell you why it makes sense and why it is very fair. It's because the work that the CEO produces, it produces a higher return on investment than the work that the administrator does. Now, this is not to say that the administrator's work doesn't matter. Not to say that it's worth less. Not to say that it's worthless is a better way of saying that. It is worth less compared to the CEO, but it's not worthless work. I mean, they're making $50,000 a year, so you're obviously doing something. But understand that the work of the CEO is bringing in that much more money than the work of the administrator. And on top of that, the CEO is much harder to replace than the administrator. I mean, how many businesses have you gone to and the front desk person is always somebody different? The front desk person changes easily, and you look at the job of the front desk person. If you've ever worked at the front desk anywhere, you know how easy it is to get the job, and you know how simple the job is. And it doesn't mean that you're a bum or you're worthless, but it does mean when you quit, if and when you quit, somebody else is going to take your spot the next day. It's not like it takes 6 months for somebody to learn how to do it. It doesn't take a whole career for somebody to learn how to become a front desk administrator. Now, you might have to spend your whole life learning how to be a CEO that's worth $5 million a year. But to get that front desk job is not as hard. It's much more easily replaceable. And the work that you produce, the returns on your work are not the same as the returns of the CEO's work. That's why the CEO is earning what they earn. You ever seen, I talked about this back in episode 1708, how a company could be losing money for the year, but then the CEO gets a bonus, a couple $1 million bonus. Like, how the CEO getting a bonus, the company's losing money? Or the company, their stock price went down, or they're not even doing that good, or whatever. It's because it's so hard to replace the CEO. They give them the bonus to keep them there. Replacing the CEO is a very expensive job. It's very time expensive. It's money expensive. It's energy expensive. The company doesn't want to go through that. They say, let's keep the CEO. Let's give them a bonus so they can stay. The CEO demands the bonus. Why? CEO demands the bonus in their contract. Why? Because they know the value of their presence and they also know the value of their absence. Whereas the administrator can't make that demand. They have to accept or negotiate. They're not in the level of demanding, like we talked about in the 3 levels of making money. They can't demand because they're too easily replaceable. Only 3 ways anyone makes money. Episode number 915. I would suggest you bookmark that one if you haven't listened to it. All these episodes are at workonyourgamepodcast.com. The only 3 ways anyone makes money. You accept what you're offered, you negotiate with the person who's making you an offer, or you demand what you want. Demanding is the highest level. CEOs can demand what they want because they know the value of their presence. And again, they understand the value of their absence. How hard would it be if the CEO went away? How hard would it be if the front desk person goes away? It would be a little bit of a snafu, but we can get another person in there quick. If a CEO goes away, how quick can we get somebody else in there? That'd be pretty hard. And that's why their value is their value. And understand, again, I'm not talking down on the person who's at the front desk. Listen, the person at the front desk chose to go for that. And the person who's the CEO chose to go for that. You can choose to go for whatever you want anytime you want. You can change it anytime you want as well. You may be great at what you do, but if there is not a high return on investment to the work that you do, there's a limit on how much you can earn. And understand, any one of us can change this at any time just by changing how we're positioning ourselves and what kind of work we're doing and what kind of returns we're trying to produce. So when you change your aim, then you will change the results. There's a rapper by the name of Puff Daddy, or he's more of a business mogul than he is a rapper, honestly. I did a virtual mentors on him. He was actually the first virtual mentors episode, back in episode number 195. Virtual Mentors Volume 1, Sean Puff Daddy Combs. And he had a rapper on his label by the name of Notorious B.I.G., aka Christopher Wallace. Now, when Notorious B.I.G. started rapping with Puff Daddy, his thing was, when he was discovered, his thing was he was a street gangster rapper. He rapped about drugs and guns and violence, and that's the kind of rapper he was, rapping about street life, because that's the life that apparently Notorious B.I.G. was living. And Puff Daddy had a conversation with Notorious B.I.G. and said to him, listen, I'm cool with you rapping how you rap. You're a great rapper. You obviously had a talent, but listen, we need to make some songs that are we need to make some songs that are for the ladies. The ladies don't want to hear about shooting people and selling drugs and being a thug in the streets. They want to hear some stuff on a more melodic beat, some R&B type stuff. We're going to put some R&B singers, Mary J. Blige and Faith Evans, on the hooks of your music. And we're going to put you in a Versace shirts and Coogee sweaters. And we're going to put some sunglasses on you. And we're going to make you look like, we're going to make a sex symbol out of you. Even though you got this lazy eye, you're this fat guy that people used to call ugly, we're going to make a sex symbol out of you. And the reason we're doing this was all marketing. The reason they wanted to do that is because Puff Daddy understood that if they were to make music for the people in the streets, there's a certain amount of ROI they could create, but there was a limit to that ROI. Whereas opposed to, if they made music for the ladies, they made music that would cross over a little bit more to the people who weren't in the streets, the people who just watch MTV and they live vicariously through these guys rapping about the streets, but they can make music that's more crossover appeal, music that people can understand what the hell you're talking about. If you talk about cars and money and popping Cristal, people can understand that a little bit better than if you talk about chopping up drugs and killing people in order to sell your marijuana and sell cocaine. Puff Daddy understood. Let's rap about those things. Let's rap about stuff that the ladies like. Let's rap about stuff that these white kids in the suburbs can buy into, not just for the people living in the hood, in the ghetto, who are drug dealing and killing each other on the corner. Let's make music for everybody else. And because they did that, again, all they did, Christopher Wallace's skills did not change. All that changed was his positioning and the way and the audience that he was targeting. When that changed, the money went up. The skills didn't change at all. And it's the same thing for you. You can take the same skills you have now and just direct them in a different way towards a different audience and change your positioning, change your languaging. The skills didn't change, and all of a sudden the ROI is completely different and your money goes up just because of that. Let's move on to point number 4. The topic here today is how to earn more money. Number 4, ask for more money. What a novel idea that is rarely used. Just ask for what you want. You want more, ask for more. Closed mouths don't get fed, folks. When I used to work at this place called Rita's Water Ice, any of you follow me on social media know Rita is one of my favorite novelties. I haven't had any actually in a couple months. It's winter months right now, so I haven't had the taste for it. But in the summertime, I'll be right back there. But when I used to work at Rita's Water Ice in Philadelphia in my teen years, I was one of the best employees there. I knew I was one of the best, and the way they measured us there was in the summertime, there would be long lines at Rita's. We had 4 windows open. It was like a stand that you walked up to. You didn't walk in the store. It was a stand, like an ice cream type stand. And we had each window had a long line, and there's one person working each window. And our manager would measure us by how quickly we were moving our lines along. How fast are we moving these lines and turning over customers? And I would always be the fastest one turning over my customers. And I would get the most hours given to me. And they used to have me work like right up to like either 35 or right up to 40 hours without being there, because then I would technically be full-time. But they wanted to keep me part-time, but they would always work me right up to that moment, and they would always give me extra days and stuff like that. And I realized my value, and one day I went to the manager and said, hey, can I have a raise? Listen, I'm the best person here, right? I had the fastest lines. I'm reliable. Anytime you call me to come in on my off days, I always come in. I'm always on time. I stay late. And I do this job. I understand this job, and I'm the best at it in here. Give me a raise. And my manager said, you're right. I will give you a raise. So she talked to the owner of the place, and they agreed, and they gave me a raise. Now, at this time, mind you, this is the 90s we're talking. I was making maybe, I don't know how much I was making. Let's say I was making $5.15 an hour. Whatever minimum wage was at that time, that's what I was making. And then they gave me a raise to like $5.35 an hour, something like that, like a 20-cent raise or a 25-cent raise, something like that. Now, I got the raise, and I went to my manager and said, hey, when I got my next paycheck, I saw the raise, and I said, hey, I saw the raise that you gave me. I appreciate it, but you know what? I think I should have got more. And me and the manager, her name was Cassandra, we had a conversation. We talked about it. She liked me. She's the one who had hired me, and she knew that I knew the job. And we talked about it, and she went back to the boss and said, give him another raise. They gave me another raise. And the other raise was for like 10 cents. So I went from like $5.15 to $5.50 an hour. So I negotiated my way to a 35-cent raise. So again, episode 915, what was I doing? Accepting, negotiating, demanding. I worked my way up to level 2 to where I could at least negotiate what I wanted. Now, I never got to the demanding part before I got fired from Rita's, but that's a different story for a different day. But the whole point is this: I asked for it. Asking does not guarantee that you'll get what you're asking for, but not asking guarantees that you'll never get it. So what you need to get comfortable with is asking directly for what you want, and then being comfortable waiting for the answer, and then being comfortable dealing with whatever that answer happens to be. But if you never ask, then you can never receive. This is simple enough, right? If you have trouble asking for the things that you want, I got some master classes that can help you. I would start with episode number 1494, how to ask better questions is one. Episode 713, how to ask for more in life. Episode 585, don't ask for a fish, get a fishing pole. Episode 507, because ye ask not, ye have not. Episode 309, don't ask for it, take it. So refer yourself to those episodes if you have any trouble asking for the things that you want in life. Moving on, point number 5. Today's topic is how to earn more money. Number 5, here's where the hard work comes in. Because I told you at the very beginning that hard work is not the key to earning more money, but hard work is an aspect of earning more money. But understand the difference between those two things. The hard work comes in when you take these 3 things that I already told you, asking for more, producing a higher return on investment, and making yourself less replaceable. What you need to work hard at is getting better at those 3 things. Get better at asking for what you want. Get better at producing ROI. Get better at making yourself irreplaceable. When you work hard at those things, then you'll get better at them, and then you'll be able to justify the ask. That's the whole point. You'll be able to justify wanting more money. You'll be able to justify negotiating for more money. You'll be able to justify demanding more money because you're irreplaceable, because you produce a higher ROI, because you're willing to ask for it. That's what you work hard at. Don't just work hard blindly. All right. Don't be a blind grinder. All right. I talked about that, about the whole concept of grinding blindly in episode 1697. You want to avoid grinding blindly. That's when people just say, I just got to work hard. I just got to hustle. I just got to go. And you're just working, but there's no strategy. There's no plan to what you're doing. I would suggest instead you listen to 1697 and follow the points that I give you in that episode so that you are working hard. You are hustling. You are working on your game, but you're doing it with a strategy in mind. You're doing it strategically so that you're actually getting a return on investment for the effort and the value that you bring to the world. I mean, wouldn't you be happy if you did that? I thought so. Let's recap today's class, which is how to make more money. Simple enough premise. I'm going to give you these principles that will help you. They apply in anywhere you go in life and anything that you do. Point number one, understand that working harder is not one of these ways to make more money. Hard work is not enough. Go to hardworkaintenough.com, take that masterclass so you understand. Point number two, make yourself less replaceable. If you are irreplaceable or something that is valuable, you will always have a job. Simple as that. Number three, produce a higher return on investment for the people you serve. Some real estate agents rent apartments at $1,000 a month. Others are selling $10 million homes. Which one makes more money? Why does the CEO make 100 times more money than the front desk person? The reason is not because the CEO works 100 times harder or is 100 times smarter, is because the CEO's work, the work that the CEO does, produces 100 times in value what the admin's work produces. Doesn't mean the admin is worth nothing because the admin is getting paid, but the CEO just produces a higher ROI with the work that they have chosen, keyword, chosen to do. Point number four, ask for more. It's a novel idea that people rarely use. When I worked at a water ice stand, I asked for a raise. They gave me a raise. I said, I want a little bit more. They gave me a little bit more. Maybe they would have said no, but I was comfortable in asking for it. That's the point that I want you to get for it. Get comfortable asking directly for what you want. And number five, here's where the hard work comes in. You work hard at these things. Work hard at making yourself irreplaceable. Work hard at producing a return on investment for the people you serve. And work hard at asking for what you want. Work hard at getting comfortable asking for what you want and being able to justify your ask or your demand with the things that you're bringing to the table. That's what you need to work hard at. Don't just work hard for no reason, not even know what you're doing. If you want to learn the strategies that you need to implement in order to start asking for and getting what you want, take my Sell Yourself course, also the People Skills course in Work on Your Game University. You can access that at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.